Alright, we have the Android 12-inch, 13-inch basically, head unit right here. It's looking great. We've been using this for about 2 weeks right now, and it's been a daily driver, so we'll have Kim, who's been using this unit every day, just tell her our thoughts. So let's talk about some criteria. What do you think of the look and feel of this head unit?
Look-wise, I really like how there's no logo, and I prefer the anti-glare, the matte finish of it. It doesn't get in my way, and navigating through it is perfect. I don't really swivel it too much, I just keep it like this, but I do like how there's a small silver finish here, no logo, it's perfect. Look-wise, it definitely meets my criteria.
Okay. What about I noticed that there's no buttons here. Has that been an issue for you, especially in this car that does not have steering wheel controls? No volume or no dedicated home button? Does it affect the way you, kind of use the head unit?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't have steering wheel control, so it does make it a little harder for me to adjust the volume button. As you can see, the volume button is all the way on the right side. So when I want to turn it up and down, I have to reach over here, and because it's so wide, it's a little bit of a reach, but it's not too bad having the volume button be all the way over there. And the home button, I mean, I can just go here. You know, it's not too bad, considering that I don't have any other buttons on it, because I do prefer not having buttons on the head unit itself. It's not too bad.
Gives it a cleaner look for sure. What about having your vents getting blocked up right there? How does it affect you throughout your commute?
Honestly, yes, because it's so big that it does block this, the AC. As you can see right here, it does block it a little bit, so I really only have just one side of the AC to use, especially it being so hot here in the area. I can just move it to the side, however it still kind of just blocks most of the AC, so that was a little bit of a problem. But now that it's getting to colder season, don't really want to use the AC as much, but yeah, it did affect the AC quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, I see if you can tilt it a little bit, you definitely have a little vent. But I mean, this is a 13-inch head unit in a really small car, so it's kind of expected. This is a universal double din, so it's not specifically tailored for this car, but it's definitely more applicable to, let's say you had an SUV, or if your vent setup and stuff like that, it's going to be different between cars and cars. The BRZ is doable, but like you said, it does block the vent quite a bit. This is basically how you're going to see the driver's seat, and yeah. Okay, so let's talk about pretty much the performance of this, and just the software you use, like radio or Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. What do you use on this head unit, and if you can just show us how it looks like.
Sure. Well, for the head unit, I like listening to the radio, so go to radio.
And that's how the UI looks. It looks like it still has some compass going on right there, which is cool. Compass and a gyroscope motor showing a bunch of cool information. The UI is really slick.
I agree. And then also use autoplay, which I just plug into my phone right here, and it connects right away.
Automatically boots up the application, and then you have Android Auto.
Yep, and for this I like listening to Spotify, so I would just select Spotify here, and it just goes right into the music.
Okay, very cool. And we have the volume on mute right now, so you guys can't hear the song, but it plays very well. You have the album art, and you can skip and stuff like that, which is awesome. You look at your playlists. Very cool. And do you use anything else, like the built-in GPS or video, or any like Google Play applications like YouTube or anything like that?
Well, I do like to use the GPS a lot. So the thing about this is that you can you either use your phone and it goes right into the head unit and you can see everything, or you can just say navigate to, and you can go here and then, or navigation, and just punch in your address, or anywhere you want to go, and you can see everything on a big screen.
Okay, very cool. How about the phone quality, Bluetooth wise, and you know, stuff like that? Do you ever use that? Is the microphone good enough, or you haven't used that really? Because
I have used the microphone when I'm talking. Say I make a phone call, the quality seems to work very well. I don't really use Bluetooth only because I have Android Auto, which sounds better in my opinion, versus using a Bluetooth. So I haven't really used a Bluetooth, honestly. Microphone sounds great, but yeah.
very cool. So yeah, USB audio through USB cables. It charges your phone, you get the better audio, and you get the better just UI. The Android Auto looks great. But again, it works with Apple CarPlay too. So that's definitely cool. What else kind of applications do you use, or is that pretty much you use Google Maps and Spotify?
Yep, just Google Maps, Spotify, phone functionality, radio, the basic necessities. Of course, this head unit has more features that I haven't really tapped into. I just mainly use it for music, phone, and navigation.
Okay, that's very good. So there's that UI right there. So talking about performance also, how is the speed of this unit? Is it very fluid? Does it stutter? Does it lag? Has it ever crashed on you? What about boot times and stuff like that?
Sometimes when you're connecting to the phone, the GPS, it will lose signal, and then it will eventually boot you up back out, but then you just have to reconnect it to your phone and it should be fine. Speed wise, I would say there's no lagging on this unit at all, so I think it works very fluid. The processing is pretty fast, so I don't have any issues with any lag or whatever.
So it's pretty smooth. And speaking also about performance, how's the resolution? Have you noticed a great deal? Because this is considered 1080p, which is the first 1080p display I've ever seen. What do you think of the sharpness and the pixel density of it? This is a 13-inch, so this is the biggest head unit you ever got, but with the higher resolution. Do text look blurry to you or anything like that?
No, I never noticed any blurriness or any kind of dip in the resolution. I do like how sharp everything looks. So, I mean, even looking at like any smaller text, you see everything just fine. So I don't have any issues with it. So I think the resolution is really good for how big of this unit this is.
I agree too. And then you have that matte screen protector that's there too. So with the matte screen protector, you do lose some contrast, like the colors are a little bit more muted because it's a matte screen. But the trade-off of having it not being super reflective is beneficial. And if you decide not to use the matte screen protector, you can always take it off. You can kind of see the little lip right there. You can pull off the screen protector if you want. So that's cool. What about, so we talked about performance. We talked about, what about the sound quality? Is it good enough, or do you was it as good as the DSP models? Have you noticed, or was it, you know?
I prefer the DSP model. The sound quality isn't too bad, to be honest with you, but the DSP sounded more crisp and it was louder. For here, as long as you're connecting it to your Android Auto or you have the radio even, it's pretty good for the quality that you're getting from a huge Android head unit.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Like, you do have really good specs, but it is missing that DSP audio, and it's a noticeable difference. It doesn't have that huge punch as the more, the expensive models with the DSPs, but I would say it's a step above the stock head unit. It's head and shoulders actually above that, so that's a good thing. But so sound quality, it's good. It's not the best that Android Auto has to Android head units have to offer, but that's what it is. It's a kind of quirky, fun head unit. Segue. What else do you any overall thoughts of this head unit? Do you recommend this to people? And who would you recommend this for?
I definitely want to recommend this to anyone who's very interested in huge Android head units. Obviously, this display is one of the biggest displays I've ever gotten. Navigating on this, just using that GPS has been a pleasure because of how huge it looks. You can watch movies on it as well, and it just, for me, just having a huge Android head unit just to either use GPS or listen to music or watch any videos, I would definitely recommend it. The only cons that it does block your AC, which has been a negative for me. The swivel function is good, but I don't recommend it if you do shift.
Can you show us that vertical style?
Yeah. Have to move it this
I think
way.
it's the other way, yeah.
No, it's this way.
No, it's the other way.
Oh, it's the other way.
So that's how the interface looks like, and it does pretty much. It does have less blockage of those vents from both sides. You can kind of see it. I actually have little fins right here, and it's the way it's pointing. But again, it's nice. It looks insane in this point of view. It's just it takes the whole thing. But again, if you have a 6-speed, you run into hitting the screen while you're shifting. And we have this head unit mounted as far back as possible. Usually this head unit is kind of coming out like right here, but then it will stick out too far, so you can kind of see we have it very deep in there, as deep as possible. And this is the best fitment you're going to get on the BRZ. It's great because there is adjustability, so you can kind of play with it and make it work. But wow, it does look amazing from this angle. It's cool. It looks like you can have lyrics right there, depending if your music file has it. So, what's the closing thoughts of this head unit again?
Closing thoughts, look-wise, it's amazing. The sound quality, it's okay, very decent. The DSP, like I mentioned earlier, I prefer the DSP because it sounds louder and more crisp. But you're not losing too much of the quality when you're using this head unit. Like I mentioned, I don't use it vertically because I'm running into issues where if I do shift, I do hit it. So even if you have it horizontal, it looks pretty good for how big of this head unit is. I do recommend it only because of how clean it looks, no logos, and the trim is amazing. There's no glare either. So one of my favorites so far. Anyways
guys, that'll be it. That was the Android head unit. That's how it looks like when it's off. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys were looking to buy a head unit like this, click on the links down in the description below. We also have an install video that you guys can check out if you guys were planning to learn more about this. We have a UI video, we have an install video, and of course this was the review. It's an overall good unit. It's not the best sounding, but it's the biggest screen, and it has a huge wow factor. With Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, it's also very cool. Yeah, and it rotates. A lot of adjustability here. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.